Otako. And of course, I come from Uganda, it's a country in Africa, and that is really, really, really okay, and I appreciate that. But that's not the point today. So, you see, when the year 2020 was starting, I was the most excited human being on this earth, I think. I was the happiest artist because as an artist, you cannot tell me that you are not happy if you realize that you are going to be part of a great tour. In 2020, I knew I was going to go for a tour where I was going to perform in countries like Nepal, India, Hong Kong, Taiwan. Let me tell you, I was so excited. I prepared myself to the best. I did my research for my storytelling. I did my research for my performance. I had all the information. I prepared for more than 1 year for this. But anyway, there came the so-called COVID-19 global pandemic. The moment they announced that COVID-19 is a global pandemic, everything turned upside down. My tour was cancelled. Let me tell you, this day before the tour was cancelled, our colleague called us, the one who was like the director of the tour, and confirmed, you know what, guys, we are not going to have the tour. The tour is cancelled because of COVID-19. I can tell you, the moment I got that information, I became depressed. I became stressed because I realized I am now unemployed 100%. There was nothing that I would do in 2020. I became unemployed with no hope. Because one, the tour had been cancelled. At the same time, the city where I was staying in Marburg in Germany, all theaters were closed. No place to perform, no place to tell your own stories. I went back in my room, I sat down and said, Otako, what would you do right now with your depression and stress? But anyway, something came into my mind. That was storytelling. I said, Otako, you were a storyteller. Why don't you start telling stories online? And I was like, Otako, would people really watch my stories? But anyway, by telling these stories online, it really helped me as a person. I started healing. I started feeling, sharing my own stories could help me to really live another life that I had not expected. And that's why today, I'm here to tell you a story online. I'm sharing with you a personal story. How COVID-19 has really affected me as an individual, but also how it has affected me with my comment around me. That's the thing. I can tell you COVID-19 has affected us in different levels. The way it affects someone living in Europe is not the same way it affects someone living in Asia. It's not the same way it has affected someone who is living in Africa or in Uganda, like me. But anyway, so there's this day when I was invited for a conference online. It was an online conference where we are supposed to come as experts of art, but also using storytelling to talk about how COVID-19 has affected the people around you and what you do and your work. I can tell you I was really excited because this was going to be my first conference online, and I was really looking forward to hear people's stories. I started to listen to people's stories. People's way out this. COVID is taking them. And then there's this complaint from one of the participants that really drove me crazy. One of the participants, of course, was a white person who said, you know what? I hate COVID-19 because I cannot organize my birthday party. And of course, I could understand this person that they could not organize a birthday party because of COVID-19. But in my mind, I was like, Otako, come on. You just became unemployed because of COVID-19, and someone is talking about birthday party. And back home, where I come from, the country like Uganda, people were not even crying for birthday party. There are people who are crying for what to eat. There are people who are crying for food. But someone was complaining that COVID-19 cannot have them have their birthday party. At this point, I was like, Otako, are you in the right conference to talk about issues, how COVID-19 is affecting people? And then I said, okay, Otako, relax. Stay in the conference, listen to people's complaints about COVID-19. And then there came another complaint from one of the participants, of course. The person said, you know what, I hate COVID-19 because I cannot go anymore to the gym and do gymming and, I was like, in my head, I was like, Otako, really? Can't you gym at home? You see, when COVID-19 broke up in the country where I come from in Uganda, they put these lockdowns. The lockdowns were like a death penalty. People lost their lives just because they were trying to find a hospital. And because it was not allowed for you to go to the hospital at a certain time of the day, then you end up yourself either being beaten up by the security or shot dead trying to go to the hospital. But someone here is crying because they cannot attend a gym. As if that was not enough, then there was another complaint that came and was like, you know what, I hate COVID-19 because these people cannot allow us to walk. I have my dog, I would like to take my dog for a walk for 2 hours. I was like, what? You want to take your dog for a walk? And where I come from, when they put these lockdowns for COVID-19, let me tell you, the way the police and the security and the military in Uganda was enforcing COVID-19, it ended up making other young people lose their life. And then there's one speaker who came on board and said, you know what, I hate COVID-19 because I don't like putting on masks. Come on. Why don't you put on your masks? Because it's important to protect your life. And he went ahead and said, I hate it because the police stopped me and then they forced me to put on a mask and they charged me money. You see what is so funny here in Europe? People were punished with charging them money when they found without a mask, which was okay. For me, I thought that is better if you put on a mask. If you don't have it, it's okay. You pay the money because you have to prevent yourself and the person that you are either working with or any other people. So this person came up and said, I hate COVID-19 because the police arrested me for not having a mask and they charged me a lot of money for not having the mask. In my head, I was like, look at this one. He doesn't know. Do you know what happened to someone in Uganda when you are found without a mask? People are beaten, harassed by the military, by the police. Some lose their lives. And to tell you the truth, we had more big numbers of people who were killed because of the security operatives than those that were losing their lives because of COVID-19. I don't know how to explain that. I cannot. Maybe you can explain it to other people, but it is hard to explain. We had the famous November massacre where hundreds of people lost their life as they were trying to demonstrate. And the security, the government responds with force because they are enforcing the laws of COVID-19. Having lived these two lives of COVID-19 in Europe and Africa, I feel it's difficult to really define what COVID-19 is real to me. But it's a global pandemic. It's everyone supposed to put on a mask to fight this. Thank you. Sisi twagera munjira sisi okunoga ebibala sisi twale tubiroga sisi etulengere sanja sisi yalendenyo sisi yatenga kwavu sisi nelitukobe misinde sisi netukabana maziga sisi mwesirikira abana sisi sijakulanya sisi nakulya banya bakulu sisi abagenda nemuka afirumiyambo 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 yambo afirumiyambo afirumiyambo yambo afirumiyambo afirumiyambo yambo afirumiyambo